of working in the professional development team, which has made working in a group for my senior capstone really a breeze. So for the IST capstone, we're placed into groups and assign a client with a real problem they need to solve. We work closely with them to design and build a software solution over the course of 2 semesters. And my capstone group is currently working on a web application to support Philadelphia Housing Authority initiative that's sharing COVID-19 information with public housing residents. So overall, that's been a great opportunity to use my tech skills to make a meaningful impact on the current issue we're all facing. And that's kind of my story so far. I wish you all the best of luck through your college decision process. I know it's hard enough before everything went online, but try to make the best of it and use all the tools you have at your disposal to learn about your schools, take advantage of all the virtual events we're offering, and ask lots of questions to explore your options and make the final decision. So thanks again and congratulations on your acceptance.
Thanks, Wilson. Next up, we have Allie.
Hi, everybody. Hi, so I'm Allie Hart. I am a recent graduate of the College of Science and Technology. I graduated with my information science and technology degree. I also had an interest in cybersecurity, so there's a program that allows me to get a certificate in it. So I took a couple courses and also graduated with a computer security and digital forensics certificate. I'm a relative local to Philadelphia. I'm outside over in Downingtown. That's where I'm currently at right now. Temple had prepared me perfectly for my current role, which is I'm an IT and security audit specialist at SAP. And I got this job because of Temple. This job directly led from an internship that I got at my career fair when I was a sophomore. And like Temple had this relationship with SAP, and this internship program was designed specifically for sophomores. They brought you in. I learned a ton of stuff throughout these 2 years. And then when it was time for me to graduate, they offered me a full-time position. And so that's where I've been since. I also, while at Temple, was a founder of AlHacks, which is a hackathon. There are a number of hackathons at different universities, and I felt Temple should have one as well. So I worked with a number of the clubs that I participated in: ACMW, ACM, TU Dev, and built something with the help of the CST staff. Rose was a huge help with a lot of my success, both with AlHacks, with getting my job. And yeah, Temple had prepared me great for my experience out here in the real world. While working full-time, I am also currently in grad school at Purdue University. So I do that part-time, work full-time, and I thank Temple for it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Allie. And now we'll move on to our faculty panelists. So why don't we go ahead and get started with Professor Belakar.
Hello, everyone. Very happy to be here with all of you today. I am an assistant professor of instruction at Temple CIS. And before joining Temple, I was a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Pennsylvania, and I got my PhD from the National University of Singapore before that. At Temple, I teach courses related to math and data science, so probability and statistics, math concepts in computing. I also teach the data science capstone and an introductory course in data science called the Elements of Data Science. So I have been having a really great time teaching here at Temple, and I recently also co-authored a book on interactive data visualization with Python. I work a great deal with the Center for Advancement of Teaching in translating research-based teaching methods and how to use them to improve our student performance in the math concepts and data science courses here at Temple. So that's about me. Thank you. And congratulations on getting admitted to Temple.
Thanks so much. Professor Chen?
Hi, everyone. My name is Wei Chen. I'm from Taiwan, and I came to United States in 2001. Got my PhD degree from Stony Brook University in 2007, and I've been with Temple since. I've been teaching calculus courses, linear algebra, differential equations. So if you take calculus courses in the future semesters, there's a lot of chances that we can see each other again. Later, if you have any questions about math courses or math career, or even considering about a math minor or a double major degree, please feel free to talk to me. Thank you.
Great, thanks very much. Professor Napolitano.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Napolitano. I'm a professor in the physics department. My research area is experimental nuclear physics. I'm particularly interested in nuclear astrophysics problems and fundamental physics problems. Happy to talk to anyone who wants to talk about research with me. I teach courses at lots of different levels, lots of different subjects. And one of the things I like best about teaching is that I get to learn these things myself and get them explained to you in ways that make sense for all of us. I've written some textbooks in quantum mechanics, on experimental physics, and also on using Mathematica to solve physics problems. But one thing I'll leave you with is that I believe Temple's an excellent opportunity for you. I should point out I've been here 7 years, and it's been a wonderful decision. Being at a large comprehensive research university offers great experiences for you as undergraduate students, because first gives you the opportunity to do research, as you're all aware, but it also means that when we teach your courses, you're getting taught from the perspective of people who are current in the field. It could give you a lot of examples about that, how it works in different courses. And also, when it's time for you to graduate and look on to the rest of your lives and your careers, we have lots of contacts in industry and other universities in the neighborhoods because of our work as a comprehensive research university and the faculty here. So these are great reasons for you to consider Temple. It's a wonderful experience. Congratulations to you all. And please don't hesitate to contact me if you have questions. My email address is right there on top of my face. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Jim. And also, I believe Rose is in our room too. So Rose, I just want to make sure you're able to say hello again.
Hi guys. Yeah, I played many hats. We wear many hats at Temple, as Allie and Wilson will tell you. I'm also a faculty member in the CIS department. The focus of my teaching is the Information Science and Technology Capstone course, which Wilson talked about. It's an amazing opportunity to really do real world work before you enter the real world. So it's really cool. Also this semester, I created a new course called How to Ace the Technical Interview. So students actually were able to take a 1-credit seminar course to help build their confidence and to be prepared for, again, for doing internship interviews and full-time interviews. Happy to talk to you about anything related to computer science. We have an amazing faculty in CST. And hopefully today you'll get a chance to get all your questions answered.
Great, thanks, Rose. So now is you have free reign to ask any questions. You can either raise your hand through the participants option, or you can type your question in the chat and we'll be happy to answer it. But to get us started, since math is such a critical part of all of our majors in our college, Wei, do you mind just talking about the math resources that are available for our students?
Yes. So the first few years you're at the Temple, you probably have to take a lot of math courses, at least like 2 or 3 of them. And you also will be attending the CST first year seminar that will have a very clear picture about all the courses, math or physics or CIS courses that you have to take in a certain order. So pay attention to that course. And then for those math courses you are taking, sometimes you'll encounter some difficult questions. Besides going to the office hours of your teacher, we also have 2 very helpful places that you can get help. Let me share with my screen now. All right, one is called the Student success center that's handled by the university. And you can see we have STEM tutoring there. They have tutoring service for math, science, econ, physics courses. Usually during this year, during this semester is still a virtual help via the Zoom meeting. So that's one place you can get help. Another one is handled by the mathematics department called the Math Consulting Center. This one is also a Zoom remote tutoring service. We have the operation hours here, and during the semester, if you have any questions from the homework, after the exams, or when you try to prepare for the exams, and if you can't really make to the office hours of your professor, this is also a great place to get help. We have the tutors. Some of them are graduate students, some of them are senior undergraduate students who finish these courses with great results. They have their scheduled hours on a weekly basis there. So if you find a tutor or two that you feel comfortable to discuss questions with, you can write down their time, their working hours, and then go to them regularly. So that's fine. But I think both places at the moment that you don't really need to make appointments to go there. You can just walk in and tell them which course you are in, what kind of help you need, and they will assign you to the correct room with the correct personnel to help you with.
Great, thanks so much. Jim, could you talk to us about some different career paths for physics majors?
Sure. Good, thank you. So our physics majors have done a number of things. Some have gone on to graduate school in different fields, particular physics. This year we're graduating 2 students, one of whom is going to Cornell in experimental physics, and another is going to Yale University for theoretical physics. And we've had a number of successes along those more or less traditional lines. But one thing we're particularly interested in now is seeing our students go into various aspects of industry. Thanks to help from Rose and others, for example, several of our students are now employed by Lockheed Martin Corporation in both New Jersey as well as other places, including Syracuse, New York. Students have gone on to positions in data science positions at different companies. I'm trying to name them, or it'd be several. And we're looking at other opportunities for students as well. Dean Klein mentioned material science, which is a new degree that we're offering now in the physics department. And this is going to be specifically aimed at students going into industry, some local, in fact, in production and prediction of materials for quantum information applications and other things. So our physics students have a number of opportunities to them, and we're anxious to see them succeed and help them do so.
Great, thanks. Ali, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your process of starting OWlHacks. How did you go about that? How challenging was it?
Sure. I mean, I'm happy to talk about that. So I had been going to hackathons more or less since I started at Temple. And I would go to Drexel, or I'd go to Penn. I'd even, like, there's a club, TU Dev, that would kind of talk with different universities and even get buses to take us down to different hackathons that were like a couple hour drive away. And I thought, why don't we have anything here? TU Dev had run a very small thing that I wanted to kind of build and get bigger. So I worked with a number of different clubs, ACM, ACMW, TU Dev, and then we also pooled from like the engineering school, IEEE, and kind of joined forces, worked with faculty, worked with staff, and figured it out. We were able to raise funds through different employers. So then we had our sponsors come in, who then were talking with the students there to get them interested in that position or get them interested in that company. And it was a couple months of work. Tons of students were involved, tons of faculty and staff. And we were able to get it together, and I think it turned out really well. And I believe it has even continued since I have left through this pandemic. So yeah, it was I had all of the support I needed. I just needed to have the idea and start asking people questions. Nobody said no. So it happened.
Very cool. Thank you so much. Wilson, can you talk about your rationale for also having a French minor?
Sure thing. So I took AP French in high school and I got to transfer in some credits. So a minor is normally around, I'd say like 8 to 12 courses. And with my credits, I got that down to, I just needed to take, I think just 6 courses to complete the minor. So I thought, why not? And Temple really makes it easy to take minors in any college, even outside of CST. So the French minors from CLA, College of Liberal Arts. And I just think it's really nice to take courses that are outside of your main field of study as just like a kind of a palate cleanser kind of thing, just for fun. And you can also take elective courses without declaring a minor. So each semester, you'll probably be taking from about 15 to 16 credits, and you have some free electives that you get to fill up with other courses. And we also have certificate programs, like Ali mentioned with her digital forensics certificate. Those are about 2 to 3 courses. So they're a lot smaller than the minor and a lot easier to complete.
Awesome. Abba, do you mind telling us, since you teach the capstone for data science, in 2 minutes or less, what is data science?
Sure. So data science is basically the application of certain computer science related topics to a variety of different fields, which we called so in certain domains, right? For example, in law, all the way ranging from agriculture and social science and psychology, all kinds of fields, we can apply certain computer science methods. We can take data that is so widely available today from all sorts of sources in text form, through social media, in image form or video form, and all of that we can put together and get valuable insights from data to make good decisions, to come up with interesting technological developments. So for example, in one of our capstone data science capstone projects this semester is how to use crowdsourced images of a plant known as cassava that is generally grown in Africa, and how to use those images to classify healthy plants versus diseased plants, and being able to use machine learning to make that differentiation, to get that classification, actually helps solve a number of different problems. It saves a ton of money that actually goes in later if the plants are, the diseased plants are not detected early enough. So data science is something that has very interesting applications in all domains, like I said before. And if I have more time, I'm happy to talk about the data science capstone, what we specifically do in the data science capstone. But basically, it's you apply everything that you have learned throughout your major, and that's basically the ultimate application of all those things in a group setting, and you get to put in a cool project on your resume at the end of it all.
Great.
Tom, I want to follow up on what Abba was talking about. The really neat, and Abba mentioned it, the really neat thing about data science is it's a science you can study and then apply where your passions are. So you could have a major in data science and apply it in environmental engineering, or apply it in French, or apply it in psychology. So it's really a major that provides you with lots of scientific tools and a toolkit that lets you take it anywhere you want. So it's really a cool major to follow your passion, as well as have a really strong STEM profession and a way to apply that in there. And then the other really thing that's neat is the major is relatively new, but as Ali mentioned about our student orgs, we have a brand new student org in data science. And again, the thing that's been really neat in watching that student organization is it's not just CIS majors. So we have majors from psychology and physics and chemistry and biology, all in this data science student organization, all working on different things together. And they're very, very active, and they're very engaged and bringing in speakers, and just, it's really, really cool. So it's been really fun to watch how this new major has really grown so quickly and created another small community within our college.
Great, thanks, Rose. I just want to remind the students, if you have a question, you can raise your hand or you can chat, and we'll be happy to answer it. Jim, could you just talk a little bit about the research opportunities for undergraduates in physics?
Sure. Make sure I'm unmuted. So we have a number of different faculty in the physics department who work in different fields. So I'm an experimental nuclear physicist. So we do experiments on nuclei and accelerators. I'm in the laboratory. We have theoretical nuclear physicists who perform calculations for things that can be tested by experiment and to make us understand the underlying theories better. We have a large group of condensed matter physicists, also both in experiment and also in theory. Most of those experiments are performed here. Some are performed at other laboratories. We have some physics, experimental physics in atomic and molecular physics as well. In all of these fields, with all of these professors, students have performed research with these colleagues, not only with the professors, but with other students, graduate students, postdocs in the group, and get different results out. Just to give you one example, I mentioned one of the students who's graduating and going to graduate school in physics at Cornell University. He worked with my colleague, Professor Alex Gray, who's a condensed matter physicist who uses X-rays to study the behavior of materials just below the surface. Some of his experiments are conducted at national facilities, international facilities for that matter. And Joseph traveled with him and his group to Switzerland a couple of years ago to use the so-called light source in Zurich, Switzerland. But he also has an apparatus that he's built, a really state-of-the-art, one of its kind in the world, high-resolution X-ray spectrometer facility in our building, the building that Dean Klein showed you. Joseph helped not only with the experiments, but in building that apparatus, putting it together, taking data, and publishing papers on it. This kind of hands-on experience in state-of-the-art laboratory facilities is something we do here regularly with undergraduate students. We'll continue to do this. And again, it's one of the reasons why you should consider a large research university for your choice as an undergraduate. In physics and other fields for that matter. This is not a unique story for us.
Thanks, Jim. Allie, what was one of your favorite classes as an undergrad?
Oh, that's a hard choice. Because I really enjoyed a lot of them. I think one of my favorite ones, and not necessarily because of the material, but the material was very critical, were some of the last courses that I took. Oh, the name is escaping me right now. Oh, it's Frank Friedman's class. It's escaping me.
Component-based software design.
Yes, component-based software design. And it was because it took some of the the fundamentals that we'd been learning over and over and over again. We've been practicing them and actually applying them. Like, we built games, we built little things that actually applied these things. And then in there is where I kind of got my community of friends, because this is when the major gets focused and you're with the people that you'll be in for the rest of your time. And so I ended up creating a great relationship with Professor Friedman. I actually was his TA for a bit. And that class, the information was interesting. It was a difficult class, don't get me wrong, but it was still interesting. I liked the projects we did. I made a lot of friends, and then I ended up TAing it. So it was just a great trajectory at the end of my towards the end of my time at IS&T.
See, Allie, I thought you were going to talk about the environmental science class where you went on the field trips and the hikes.
Oh, well, that's very true. But that was a unique experience probably towards me, because I'm probably one of the only IS&T majors that chose geology as my science. And through a scheduling issue, the course I needed to graduate wasn't being offered because there wasn't enough people taking it. So I had to kind of scramble a bit, meet with all of the advisors, meet with people in the geology majors, get my faculty advisors to help. We figured a course that would help me meet my requirements. I ended up taking a paleontology class, and it was a ton of fun because we actually went on this like 3-day trip up to New York, and we actually like dug fossils up and like sketched rock formations. That was a lot of fun. I don't know if it applies to everybody. That's why I didn't bring it up.
Cool. Also,
Tom, one of the things I want to focus on real quickly, and I think Wilson and Allie will confirm this, is Dr. Chen mentioned office hours. And I want to really stress to students how important office hours are. A lot of students think that if you go to office hours, something's wrong and, you know, you're going to be seen poorly by it, or, you know, you shouldn't really, you know, you don't want to go to office hours. It's scary. It's intimidating. I really want to implore you to go to office hours. As faculty members, we like office hours. We want you to come. We want to get to know you. We want to help you. And that's also where you get these wonderful little golden nuggets of opportunities that Jim's talking about, that Dr. Chen talked about, what Dr. Bellacourt talked about. You know, we get to know you and we get to say, hey, you might really like to do X, Y, Z. Or when something comes to us, you know, an opportunity, we say to ourselves, oh, Allie is perfect for this. So I really want to encourage you to go to office hours. You don't have to have a problem. You don't have to be failing. You don't have to be stuck on something, but stop by. Especially when we go back. We are all going to want to see you in office hours and not on a Zoom screen.
I mean, I can kind of second that as well, because as a student and a TA, I held my own office hours. I was a TA for component-based design, and then I was also a TA for computer forensics. And you build so much, like you build a relationship with the people that you see every day. Like you get to know your professors, and so then when you actually run into an issue, they're always willing to help. They go that extra mile. They help you out. Because they know you. You're not just this random person sitting in the back of their class. If I was to give one piece of advice to any student, is just to get involved. You get the most out of your major. You get the most out of your time by going to office hours, by getting to know your professors and the faculty, by being part of clubs, by engaging with your students that are around you, because then you create this community that then helps you. I know all of my friends who I graduated with have jobs now because of the community that we built and the connections we had. We went to clubs that brought in employers. We went to hackathons to build some skills. We participated throughout our entire time, and it was amazing. It was one of my, it was just a great experience.
Awesome. Jiwei, as someone who's taught the first year seminar and who's currently teaching the first year seminar, what advice would you give to an incoming first year student?
My idea is that the first year seminar is really helpful, and don't worry about it, you will have the chance to have that course in your first semester. And there we introduce a lot of useful tools, like how to prepare for a double major if you're interested in that, or you want to also have a minor degree. Sometimes that at the end of your college life, you just realize, hey, if I take like 3 more courses, then I could have a minor degree, because a lot of courses are overlapping among degrees. And that could be too late, because you probably don't want to spend another year just for that minor program, right? So the earlier you discover that opportunity, the better for you to have that planned in advance. And we also have a lot of tools that maybe some of you are using already, maybe some of you are not aware of it. For example, like have a weekly planner, your whole semester planner, your whole 4-year college planner. It's a good idea to have that in the beginning. As a matter of fact, let me share the screen for one of the things I probably want to mention. Is that not this page? That's another topics. All right. So we will have this kind of a thing called a flow chart about what the kind of courses you need to take during the college 4 years. This is the example from the computer science program. And let's just click on one of the flow chart here, and you can see that these are the courses required to take over the 4 years plan. And you see that some of the courses will have the arrows in front of them. That means that the course in front of them are prerequisites, right? So from this flow chart, you can see that some of the courses are important. For example, Math 1021 here in the middle and at the front, that's the prerequisite for other 2 courses. So if you didn't do well here, it will have a huge influence on the later courses, right? So for this kind of a planning thing, it's great that the first semester during the first year seminar course, you will have the chance to access all these things, have them written down in your own planner for the 4 years. So that will be really helpful. And this is kind of like a new program Tom and the CST organized recent years. And I think this is a great thing for new students. And I certainly hope that this course can last forever.
Great, thanks so much. That made me want to ask a question. Frequently, we have, having worked with a lot of first-year students that come in as CIS majors, trying to differentiate between computer science and information science and technology. So Abba and or maybe Rose could talk a little bit about the differences between those two, and the flowcharts that Jiwei just showed. The beginning of those majors is very similar for the first few semesters, so that you don't really have to make that decision until you've been on campus and talked to faculty.
Sure, so I can start. So we have actually 3 different majors that are available in the CIS department: computer science, information systems, and data science. And maybe Rose can talk more about the computer science and information science, especially if I miss anything. Basically, information science is more geared towards students who are especially interested in the human aspect, the client's aspect of computer science, dealing with the clients, their requirements, and integrating that into your software and into your products. And whereas the computer science is, it tends to have more math courses in general, and the number of math courses increases essentially from the IS&T, and then the computer science and the data science is usually where you have the most amount of math courses, but that also really depends on which concentration you take in the data science major. So by concentration, we just mean a specialization. Within the data science major, you can have 3 different specializations, any one of them. And one of the specializations is genomics and computational biology. So you can do more of bio courses and try to integrate data science into biology if that's what you're interested in, and genetics. The other specialization is computation and modeling, and then we also have a computational analytics specialization. And depending on what your specialization is, you might take some more physics courses or some more math and computer science courses. And at the end of it all, no matter which major you choose, computer science, information science, or data science, at the end of each of those 3 majors, you're going to do a capstone course, which is basically the culmination of everything that you've learned into a solid real world project that you can showcase in your resume. So yeah, maybe Rose can take over.
The biggest, honestly, most of our students come in thinking they want to be computer science, because that's really all that they've been made aware of from, you know, in seeking majors and talking to people. And computer science, information science, and technology, we also have a math flavor of that. And then we also have data science. It's really up to the student. All 4 of those majors are programming foundational majors. You are going to take the same amount of programming in IS&T as you're going to take in CS. It's just going to be a slightly different flavor, and it's going to have slightly different electives. So really, it's about what's right for you. And you may not know what that is your first year, and that's okay, because the courses are exactly the same for about the first 2 years. They're all the foundational programming classes. It's really then gives you the time to explore what the two programs based on the electives, based on the 3rd and 4th year courses, and conversations with your peers, right? And I was going to turn that over to Wilson. You know, students talk all the time between themselves, the difference between CS and IS&T, and how there's a right fit for either student. I will tell you from the professional development job market, it doesn't matter. Both groups of students are getting amazing opportunities. There's no difference in the hiring. Where you would see differences in hiring, for example, say your passion and your goal is to be a software engineer for Google. If that is the case, then your major needs to be math and computer science, because that's the skill set that that particular company is looking for. And so it really depends on what your goals are. If your goal is to be a game developer, then you want to focus, again, same thing, on heavy duty math and physics courses. Physics courses are very important for true game developers, understanding the relationships and time and space and all those kinds of things. So I guess I'll let Wilson, if you don't mind, you know, what the student scuttlebutt is, the difference between IS&T and CS, because in reality, that's the most important thing you're going to hear about.
Yeah, I think I see it discussed about the most is that CS is kind of a more in-depth approach into like the classical computer science education in terms of like you're learning about operating systems and compiler design and things like that, which are more kind of on the lower level, so to speak, closer to like the machine code. Whereas with IS&T, you're working with applications on a higher level. So the IST curriculum is more geared toward, especially the end of it, it's toward full stack web application development, where you're actually building a system that lives on top of the rest of the computer infrastructure, I guess, if that makes sense.
I did want to make sure I got to ask you, Wilson, what your favorite class has been so far.
Yeah, my favorite class, I think it has to be, I really like Dr. Frank's class as well, Ali. He's a great guy. I've also gone to his office hours a lot. I've talked to him for like 3 hours in his office. He's fantastic. But I really liked Professor Pascucci's server-side web application development course, because that class really brings everything from the major together, where you're working with all parts of the software stack, from databases, the front end, and the back end server side.
Great, thanks. Jim, do you mind? I always ask you about like your rationale, or you present a really good description of why a student might want to come to Temple and CST in particular.
Sure. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Let me grab some water. Sure. So, look, it's great that you guys have done so much work over the years. Congratulations on being admitted to Temple. A lot of students will have lots of choices about the sort of universities or colleges they want to go to, and finding the right fit for you is always a difficult choice. Temple is a large university. It's a large, comprehensive public university in a urban setting, and that offers a lot of living arrangements, things that hopefully are attractive to you, that provide so many different options for you to live and study and work, and to have a well-rounded education. But we are a comprehensive research university. We, I think Danny mentioned in the opening, we're an R1 university. That's the highest ranking in research. I think there's only on the order of 100 R1 universities in the country. Temple is one of, I guess, 6 in the state of Pennsylvania. So why would you want to come as an undergraduate student to a university that puts a lot of its focus on research, research funding, research, professional research in the sciences and other fields? Well, there are 3 reasons in my mind where you would want to do that. One is that it gives the opportunity to contribute to a research program. You get to learn what research is like, see if that's the sort of thing you want to do with your life, and actually see, the sausage getting made. And there's a lot of eye-opening experiences in that, and it's a great thing for you to be able to do. And I encourage you all to consider research opportunities in your undergraduate life. Secondly, when you have a professional researcher teaching the course that you're in, you can't help but have that connected to the material. Just 2 days ago, there was a major announcement of a result in my field, a measurement of something called G-2 for the muon that we could talk about sometime. But this has to do with the way subatomic particles rotate themselves in magnetic fields, and measurements with such precision have led to new physics and new excitement. And it was a big deal. And the field is still talking about this new result that was announced. When I talk about quantum mechanics in my quantum mechanics class or in my freshman physics seminars, we talk about what these measurements mean, and you get to see what the field is currently talking about, and it's part of what's exciting. And to my mind, that's one of the best things about teaching. You're not just learning things out of a textbook, you're learning what happened today from people who know what's going on. And the third reason why I think it's very useful for you guys to consider a research university is because we're all connected to the community, to the research community, which includes people in industry as well as universities where other research is being done. Those connections will be very useful going on. One student that I know of, a physics undergraduate, he had done some research and was interested, and it was okay. But I asked him what it was he really wanted to do. And he said, well, I really would be interested in working with companies in the defense industry. And he wanted to learn more about them. I have a contact at a very large company called SAIC outside of, well, they're all over the place, but main offices are outside Washington, D.C. in McLean, Virginia. And he connected with them, had a wonderful internship experience. And that really shaped his future. And now he knows that's what he wants to do. And I'm not unique in that I have these contacts that I'm able to put students in touch with them. Rose does this constantly with lots of students. We have lots of different avenues for that. I think I mentioned earlier that we had students who, another student who's now working for Lockheed Martin on their executive track. He thought he wanted to do research in biophysics. In fact, that was what he was studied and worked in for a while, but decided, this really wasn't for me. And he wanted to look around at other things, and he found this opportunity, and he's happy as a clam. One of his classmates, in fact, also working for Lockheed Martin, she's now in the Master's in Systems Engineering program at Johns Hopkins, which she's doing while she's working at Lockheed. So these things are made possible because we have these contacts. And this is a reason, the third reason, why I think coming to a large research university is an excellent idea for undergraduate students. So I would urge you to consider that aspect here as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jim. And I'd like to thank all of our panelists today for joining us. That concludes our session. There's some other sessions going on today, and you can go to those. I will stay on to answer any questions any individual students may have afterwards. If today felt like an aha moment and you want to commit, you can do so through your TU portal. Just a reminder that the deadline is May 1st. And thanks so much and have a great day.